Hi everyone! Welcome to AttorneyEstee channel. Today we have a very interesting topic, especially after the PhilHealth corruption issues. Sabi nga ng iba, PhilWealth or PhilHealth. But this video is not exactly about that. It's more general. How or when do some politicians in the Philippines make money aside from their monthly salary? Again, I say some and not all. Part of this video also speaks of the benefits some politicians received, plus I have two key proposals which I believe can help fight corruption in the Philippines. During and even after my political life, people around me kept on asking this question: paano ba talaga nakakapera ang mga politiko besides their monthly salary? Hindi po gaanong malaki ang sweldo ng mga politiko, kaya nakakapagtaka po talaga kung bakit sa iba't ibang bansa sila nakakapasyal with their families, bakit mansyon ng kanilang mga bahay, hindi lang isa, kundi dalawa, tatlo, or more sa iba't ibang lugar. Ilang magagarang sasakyan, ilang farms and businesses, at dito po sa Amerika, meron din silang businesses like home health, or hospice care, or real estate business, at iba pa. Well, this topic is about that. Bato-bato po sa langit, ang tamaan, huwag pong magagalit. I am bold enough to create this video kasi naniniwala po ako na hindi magkakaroon ng solusyon kung hindi mo na inaalam ang problema. We have to find out how sick our government is before we can heal it. Even a doctor cannot cure his patients if the patients don't tell him the symptoms, their complaints, the pains they feel, right? The same way with judges. They cannot rule on something without knowing or hearing what the issues are, what are the problems, or what are the conflicts in a particular case. I wish that with this video, people will become aware of the many tactics politicians employ. We can actually exchange our views here with only one agenda in mind: to work together to solve this problem. To be clear, wala na po akong balak bumalik sa politika, pero nananatili po ang aking adhikain na makatulong sa ikabubuti ng ating bayan, saan man ako naroroon. You may wonder what is my authority about this topic. This video is about my own experience in public service and the many revelations that unfold before my very eyes for 9 straight years. I was elected #1 Councilor of Calapan City, Oriental, Mindoro, Philippines. I became #1 board member, 1st District, then became the youngest Vice Governor of the province of Oriental, Mindoro in the Philippines. I served the government for a total of 9 years. And this is the most interesting part. I ran for Congress in May 2010 against an incumbent convicted by the Sandigan Bayan for graft and corruption. And he still won. I placed second among 4 candidates. But I was able to prove that the province really wanted to replace him because the results showed that more voted against him than for him. Kaya lang po, yung mga ayaw sa kanya nahati pa sa 3 candidates. So, if it's one-on-one fight, maybe the result would have been different. Anyone among the 3 other candidates could have won the fight. While I was disappointed and disillusioned, I accepted my fate and bid goodbye to my province and relocated to the US. Now I am truly grateful for what I have become after that incident in my life. So, let's proceed to our illuminating topic today. How or when do politicians in the Philippines make money? Well, some means are legal, some illegal, some legal, but maybe unethical. #1, when there are pending resolutions or ordinances. For example, a private sector needs the help of a politician in the approval of a resolution to operate a business. Then, sometimes this private sector would pay those officials in order to get an approval or to expedite an approval. I will share to you my first ever experience. When I was a city councilor, there was a proposed resolution to approve a memorial park or a cemetery plan. So, dadaan po sa local council yan, presided by the vice mayor, then to be approved by the mayor. Before the deliberation and the voting, I received an envelope with 10,000 pesos inside. What was that for? I was told it is about that cemetery resolution. Of course, I returned the money to that councilor who handed me the envelope because Actually, after winning the election, I made a pact to myself that I will prove to our fellow men that upon the end of my term, I can look straight to each voter's eye and say, I served you well with responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency. That I entered and left politics clean. Modesty aside, I was able to do that. But let's go back to that story. So I got curious, and so I scrutinized the documentation regarding that resolution. And guess what I found? The proposed resolution is actually approvable. During the deliberation, as I recall, I just questioned some documents and requested them to provide us additional documentation, which the company was able to provide. So the resolution was actually approved. My thought was, why do they have to give money to the councilors and those approving the resolution? Did somebody ask for it? Or maybe they knew that it has become a non-written policy. So, kung titingnan po natin, kawawa naman yung kumpanya. Hindi pa nag-uumpisa ang business, nabawasan na agad ang capital. So the same system is unfortunately happening not only in the local legislations or local approvals, but also in Congress or Senate. Many newspapers wrote about this in details, and some whistleblowers admitted that this kind of system is happening in Congress and Senate as well. So if there are proposals, measures to be deliberated upon, and some big companies are involved or will be affected by the measure, you are talking of big amounts here, not just 10,000 pesos. It could be millions or billions. So, ito po yung sakit na dapat bigyan ng pansin at solusyon. Number 2, through government projects. For example, repair of roads, basketball courts, buildings, or distribution of fertilizers to farmers, etc., etc. Hindi po ba tayo nagtataka kung bakit legislator sila, meaning tagagawa ng batas, pero silang nagkokontrol ng ilang projects ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Like yung roads, dapat Department of Public Works and Highways na nagsasagawa ng construction projects. Pero ang nangyayari, meron silang allotment para sa projects na ganito. If you will notice the provinces, you will see the billboards of different congressmen about their construction projects with their big photos. Pero wala kang makikitang billboard about their proposed bills or legislations. For example, amending section so-and-so of the Family Code or Labor Code or any proposed legislation. Wala, nada. Well, maraming nakakaalam ng sistema ng ganitong projects. Every time nakaka-eleksyon, lumalabas ang issue na ito. One candidate will say, itong si congressman na ito, grabe makakuha ng komisyon sa mga projects. Sagot naman ng isa, mas grabe yung kandidato mo. Mas mataas ang hinihingi and advance agad ang komisyon. Hindi pa nag-uumpisa ang projects. They're referring to the arrangement between the contractor and the congressman. So bakit ito ay nalalaman ng publiko? Kasi po, may mga taong dating empleyado ng mga congressman na ito at meron din pong mga hindi nagkasundo sa usapan at nagkahiwalay ng landas ang kontratista at ang politiko. So ano po ang adverse effect sa ating bansa? Yung mga legislation na dapat i-amend na iisang tabi. Kasi nga, they concentrate on these projects, these construction projects. Remember, I posted in Facebook a flaw in the family code that needs to be amended. Halimbawa, yung illegitimate minor children na ang custodial parent ay namatay at ang bata hindi makakuha ng passport kasi kailangan pa ng petition for guardianship sa court na dapat i-file ng nabubuhay na magulang, the non-custodial parent. So habang walang approved petition, which could take about a year or more, ang bata hindi makalabas ng bansa. Pero dahil walang kita sa ganitong legislation, nananatiling malabo ang ating batas at ang bata na denied of her right to travel. At isa pang adverse effect, nagiging substandard ang mga projects kasi nga kailangan i-adjust ng contractor ang project para naman may kitain din sila. Well, there are other instances ng anomaly sa mga projects. Another example, yung mga paligan ng basketball. meron din palang anomalies. Some members of the SK approached me and mentioned to me how it works, especially sa mga tournaments ng mga SKs, nangyayari din pala ito. How? For example, sa budget ng referees, ilalagay 3 referees pero 2 lang ang ginagamit na referee. Or sa mga uniforms na 40 pieces pero 20 lang talaga ang pinapagawa. Ang problema, pag may investigation na, umiiwas na yung mga nakakaalam at ayaw magsalita, so siguro natatakot mabalikan ng mga involved. So sadly, ang corruption natutunan na rin ng mga bata. Okay? Number 3, through kickbox. Congressional funds channeled to different NGOs or foundation. This has been proven. Alam naman natin na may mga senators na nakulong dito at mga congressmen na naimbestigahan dahil dito. This is how it works. A certain foundation or NGO for farmers will request for assistance, for example, regarding their project fertilizers para sa mga magsasaka. Some senators or congressmen will approve this project and the funds will be released to said NGO or foundation. Pero wala pala talagang projects. These are ghost projects and the foundation will give this politician some kickbacks in return. Well, meron naman mga politiko na nagbibigay ng ilang fertilizers for documentation purposes or photo ops pero the rest hindi na napunta sa dapat na beneficiaries. So ang taxpayers' money napunta sa mga taong nagpapayaman at sa bulsa ng politiko. There has been many investigations against governors and administrators and congressmen regarding this. Pero sabi nga ng iba, puro investigasyon lang naman. This has been going on for years. May mga politiko pa nga na sila mismo ang nag-form ng sariling foundation and a significant amount of their congressional funds are channeled to this foundation. I'm glad na nabisto na rin ito kasi kawawa yung mga legitimate na foundation and NGO na may mga makabuluhang projects. Hindi nabibigyan ng sapat na assistance kasi nga nabigay sa mga chosen foundations ng mga politiko. Yung congressional funds na tinatawag, inadapt na rin po yan sa local, sa probinsya, municipal, and city. Yung tinatawag sa budget na grants and aids. Kaya yung mga barangay, they would go to a certain councilor or board member na nangako sa kanila noong last election para sa mga projects. But then again, they are voted as local legislators at hindi taga-implement ng projects. Kaya questionable talaga itong item na ito. But since nakasanayan na, patuloy ang ganitong sistema. I believe kung mawawala itong mga development funds and grants and aids na ito, the legislators can concentrate on their mandated duties and make laws for the welfare of their constituents. During my term, while we were in caucus, I proposed na tanggalin na itong grants and aids na ito. My justifications were hindi ito trabaho ng legislators plus nauubos ang oras ng mga politiko sa pag-entertain ng mga hihingi na projects. At isa pa, hindi rin naman enough ang funds. So mas marami ang hindi napapagbigyan at nagtatampo. Unfortunately, I was outvoted. So tuloy ang grants and aids. Number 4, money received from high-ranking officials. There were instances when we were called in Malacanang and every time we go home, we would receive an envelope. Or sometimes, some high-ranking officials would visit the province and conduct a meeting. We also received an envelope. Kaya po minsan, pag may mga ganitong event at limited ang invitation, nag-uunahang magpalista. If you add all this money, isang malaking project na ito para sa ating bansa. Number 5, money received for travels and conventions through their own budget and through the leagues. We have councilors' leagues, board members' leagues, mayor's leagues, even secretaries' leagues, meron din po. So, sa bawat budget ng opisina, may mga portion doon na contribution to the different leagues. For me, it is a way to channel public funds to the leagues, then to the pockets of the politicians, or to fund the politicians' travel domestically or internationally. Through the league, you can visit different places kasi iba-ibang city or provinces ang nag-host ng meeting. So kung nakikita nyo mga politiko sa Facebook na sa iba't ibang lugar, well, salamat sa mga local budget at budget ng leagues. Meetings and conventions are held many times a year, like 3 to 4 times a year or mas marami pa. While I was councilor, I attended conventions and meetings kasi nga, curious ka. And then when I was vice governor, I also attended even out-of-the-country conventions until I stopped attending kasi nakita ko na nangyayari malaking oras ang nawawala at nauubos sa pag-attend. Maganda naman ang purpose ng mga leagues kasi you can share the best practices of your city or province and you learn something new. But with the modern technology, isang email lang sa kanila or online research or Google search, you can actually find this out. So maybe, dapat bawasan itong mga budget na ito. Number 6, through ghost employees. They will put the names of some person sa payroll kahit hindi naman nag-work sa kanilang office. So, yung salaries every month napupunta rin sa politiko. Yung mga councilors, board members, vice mayors, vice governors, may mga casuals yan na sumisweldo every month. Pero minsan, hindi mo naman sila nakikita. Kaya, during my term as vice governor, I really conduct meetings like every week. Sometimes I randomly schedule a meeting with casuals to make sure they really exist. Ano pa po ang mga perks ng isang politician bukod sa sarili mong casual employees? You are provided with car, plus gas allowance, then provided with cell phones and laptop. Well, I'm not against it altogether, pero sana naman hindi yung mga luxury cars and mga top-of-the-line cellphone kasi taxpayers' money yon. Sana kung meron lang sana tayo na locally manufactured products and yun ang i-offer sa government officials and employees. Halimbawa, makapag-produce ng sariling cellphone brand para makapag-produce din ng maraming trabaho and at the same time, we promote our own industry. Anyway, ano po pa ba yung mga iba pang ways paano kumita ang politiko? Number 7, while taking advantage of power or using power and own congressional funds for personal gain. For example, before allotting funds for the repair of the road or development of the community, yung politiko, bibilhin niya muna ang mga adjacent lots. So when the roads were constructed or improved, of course, the community will appreciate greatly in value. This means malaki ang kita niya pag binenta niya ang mga karatig na properties na binili niya. So, yan po yung mga ilang ways and means kung bakit may extra kita ang mga politiko. Ayon sa kasabihan, maliit ang sweldo pero malaki ang kita. Anyway, ang good news, not all politicians are corrupt. I personally know some of them. Minsan yung mayor, governor, hindi sila ang corrupt, kundi yung mga taong mga nasa paligid nila. So, pasalamat tayo na may mga clean and honest politicians pa. I'm sure yung ibang nanonood, may mga personal experience din po kayo, especially dealing with government. Feel free to comment below. Who knows, baka makagawa pa tayo ng part 2 at makatulong tayo sa ating bansa na matigil ang korupsyon. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up. If you have not done so yet, please subscribe now to my channel. The next question, AttorneyEstee, what are your proposals to change the system? I have several key proposals which I believe will have a huge impact. Number 1, yung tinatawag nating entrapment. Kung ginagawa ito sa pagpigil ng drugs, why not use this to capture corrupt politicians? Create an entrapment team. In the Philippines, legal naman ang entrapment versus instigation which is not allowed. Of course, subject to guidelines para hindi maabuso. Siyempre, matatakot ang politiko to talk or deal with someone na posibleng kasama sa entrapment. For example, the entrapment team will work with a contractor para mahuli sa akto ang congressman or pwede rin naman na ang kakonspire ng entrapment team ay yung congressman para mahuli ang mga contractors nang nagbabribe. Sa tingin ko po, with this, mababawasan ang mga gagawa ng katiwalian. Number 2, to reinforce number 1, i-amend ang Anti-Wire Taping Law. Anti-Wire Taping Law po is Republic Act number 4200 signed in 1965 to safeguard the constitutionally guaranteed right to privacy of communication. There is a very limited exception, like a law enforcer can obtain a written court order to wiretap a conversation in cases involving treason, rebellion, espionage, crimes against national security. Ayon sa batas na ito, hindi pwedeng mag-record ng conversation if not authorized by all the parties. This means you can only record if all parties consented to the recording. Pero syempre, pag alam nila nire-record sila, mag-iingat sila, di po ba? I suggest that the law be amended in such a way that if one party consented to the recording, that recording is allowed and can be used as evidence. We call this a one-party consent law. I know maraming ko kontra pag ito ang naging batas at sasabihin na this violates yung kanilang freedom or right to privacy of communication. Well, ang Amerika po ay tinatawag na land of the free. Kung freedom po ang pag-uusapan dito po sa Amerika, ay talagang mas na-exercise ang freedom ng mga tao. Ganun pa man, dito po mismo sa Amerika ay may ganitong batas, yung one-party consent law. In fact, 38 states plus District of Columbia out of the 50 states have one-party consent rule. Kasama po dito ang New York. Kaya sinasabi nila, ingat ka at baka ang kausap mo nagre-record ng conversation mo at pwedeng gamitin against you. In 11 states, two parties or all parties consent rule. Dito naman kasama ang California. So 38 versus 11, mas marami po ang gumagamit ng one-party consent rule. Mas mapapagtibay ang laban sa korupsyon kung one-party rule ang ating anti-White Taping Law. Kung wala namang ginagawang kalokohan ng politiko, walang dapat ikatakot dito. As a matter of fact, protection din niya ito kung halimbawang may mag-akusa sa kanya na siya ang nanghihingi ng kickbox during a certain conversation. Makakatulong din po ito sa court cases. Halimbawa, may mga threats over the phone, hindi mo magamit kasi nga illegal pag walang consent of all parties. Kaya may malaking advantages ito sa court proceedings. Mas malalaman kung sino talaga ang nagsasabi ng totoo. Hindi yung he says or she says sa senaryo na ang laging talo ay yung mga ordinaryong tao kesa sa mga mabibigat na politiko. The next issue is, paano mababago ang batas kung mismo yung mga taong dapat magbago ng batas ang nakikinabang sa old system? Kung baga po, kumuha sila ng bato na ipupukpok sa kanilang sarili, or they would kill the goose that lays the golden egg. That's the biggest hurdle. Tuwing eleksyon, halos lahat ng politiko nangangako na susugpuin ang korupsyon. Mga boilerplate na campaign, mga general statements, pero wala namang specific na paraan na sinasabi. Kasi nga, nakikinabang sila. So siguro, panahon na para matest natin ang People's Initiative. Under the 1987 Constitution, the people can enact legislations. The registered voters can propose a new law or amendment to existing law. Even amend the Constitution or the charter change. Nakakalungkot na 33 years na itong People's Initiative pero hindi man lang natin ito na-exercise. There was an initiative before na i-abolish ang pork barrel. Even the late Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago supported it. Marami na ang pumirma pero ang excuse, hindi prepared ang COMELEC. At dumating sa time na ang mga politiko, they influenced yung mga citizens na wag pumirma. But I don't think it is that hard. Dito po sa Amerika, like here in California, yung propositions or people's initiatives sinasama lang sa general election. For example, this November 3 election in California, there are 12 ballot measures or propositions na kasama sa ballot, like this. Voters will just vote yes or no sa mga measures. That easy. This has been done for years. So sana magawa din po ito sa Pilipinas. So, what's next? Yung pagboto sa susunod na eleksyon. Siguro, pwede itanong ito sa mga kandidato how they will vote on these proposed changes like the Anti-White Taping Law or the abolition of the pork barrel. Are they willing to amend the law to help fight corruption? So we pressure them to commit to the people before voting them. Despite what is happening in the Philippines, I still believe in our government at sa kakayahan ng mga taong baguhin ang sistema. Ika nga ng American author na si Peter Black, change from the top down happens at the will and whim of those below. This means mahalaga ang boto ng bawat Pilipino para magkaroon ng matitinong politiko at maisulong ang mga pagbabago at masugpo finally ang corruption. As they say, what we allow is what will continue. May korupsyon kasi people allow it. Sa bagay, I analyze it, corruption issue is critical lang naman sa mga ordinaryong tao from median to the poorest. Kasi yung mga mayayaman, they have the means to go with the flow. Kung kailangan magbigay, edi magbigay kasi may pambigay. Solve ang problema, right? So paano naman yung mga walang pangbigay? They are the ones suffering from this rotten system. Sa totoo lang po, maraming politiko na gusto naman ng pagbabago, but nobody is backing them up. Mahirap po talagang maging politiko. I remember many instances I wrote a letter to the editor sa mga daily newspapers, yung mga nakikita kong mali, kahit pa sa mga nakaupong presidente at kapartito ko pa. I remember I criticized President Arroyo's visit to our province at it was published in a national newspaper. Sabi ng daddy ko, yun na daw ang katapusan ng political career ko. At yung iba naman, sinasabi na ako daw yung taong nasa politika pero hindi politiko. Once you're in politics, you will really be tested sa moral values mo. Kaya we really need to pray for our leaders. Yung temptations, hindi lamang involving money. Kahit po sa pag-appoint lang ng tamang tao sa posisyon, may mga challenges din. I remember when I assumed the position of vice governorship upon the death of our governor, Tito Bart Marasigan, ang unang pagsubok ko po ay yung mag-appoint ng secretary sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan na bakante bigla ang posisyong ito. Mahalaga ang posisyon na ito at halos pareho na ng sweldo ng isang board member. Kahit mapalitan ng vice governors, ang board members, ang secretary ng sanggunian, nakapwesto pa rin. So, may mga kamag-anak na nag-apply at may mga kaibigan ng mga politiko, mga mayors ang naglalakad ng kani-kanilang gustong ipasok. I received a lot of calls and visits from different influential people in the province. But what I did, I really scrutinized each and every applicant. Sa totoo lang po, mahirap mag-decide kasi may mga applicants equally qualified. During the process of elimination, dalawa lang ang natira. May isang outsider at isang nasa loob ng sanggunian. If you come to think of it, that could be a big political opportunity for me. If I place someone with more political clout, then that would benefit me in the next elections. But my final decision was never based on my future political plans, but was based on an applicant's experience inside the office plus seniority. I promoted the one next in rank. So what happened was lahat halos ng empleyado na promote, bawal level na babakante, so lahat sila umakyat. At yung nasa dulo sa baba, yun lang po ang nilagyan ko ng bagong empleyado na galing sa labas. Until now, the one I appointed is still doing a good job. With that experience, I was able to prove kahit may malaking pressure, kaya mo pa rin gawin ang dapat mong gawin. So, sa mga bagong politiko at nahihirapan sa sistema, just do what you have to do and you can sleep well at night. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to comment, share to your friends, and subscribe to this channel. Till my next video, bye!